But now chota chota is supposed to be used by these people using small boats. So now can we get some help? My people are confused. They don't know what to do. There's this fishing going on. There's this one that has been stopped. But now the minister is saying they should not use. First of all, Madam Speaker, when the report talked about juvenile, the report talked about juvenile cells, and like Honorable Balimwezo said, some places don't have juvenile cells, and these children are put in the same cells with adults. However, when you come to island districts, these probation officers have to transport children from, for example, Kalangala, Buvuma, to Naguru and Kampiringisa. This is very costly for them, yet they are not funded very well. So I think, to the committee chairperson, I would request you add that recommendation that, yes. And also, Madam Speaker, when we talked about local councils, the people in charge of children affairs are the secretaries for children affairs. That is the deputy chairperson of a village. This, I think, brings us back to wanting to elect these people into those positions again, and we make them legal such that they help us with this issue of parenting. Then finally, Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I want to thank...
And honorable members, after getting both reports, this is what is going to help the sectoral committee on ICT on doing their oversight role. Yes, Minister. Yes, Helen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I thank my honorable colleague for the elaborate report, only that a few aspects have been left out. And because this side where I stand is supposed to check you, I am obliged to do so. Madam Speaker, he gave us a good report. Like I said, he left out some that I am going to throw more light on. One, I want to thank you that you're going to connect all the districts and inclusive of the islands, because our network connection is really bad. We thank you for that, and we believe it is going to happen soon for security purposes. Madam Speaker, allow me read this verbatim.
Please.
We have very many challenges when it comes to this phase.
You read your document.
Thank you so much. I'm going to only read the challenges, Madam Speaker, or the emerging issues from his report. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the UN Trade and Development, which is an intergovernmental organization within the United Nations Secretariat that promotes the interests of developing countries in the world trade, warned about the climbing debt burden of the low developing countries, Honorable Minister. And it also states that it undermines the service delivery, especially when it comes to education and health issues. Their debts have not only grown, that is the debts of the low developing countries, but also become costlier and riskier. Between 2011 and 2019, low developing countries debt service it tripled to 33 billion US dollars, which represents between 5% and 13% of the value of their exports. The pandemic has exacerbated the situation with LDCs, that is the low developing countries, debt repayment set to hit 43 billion US dollars in 2022. Such a burden will jeopardize their COVID-19 recovery efforts and sap the public funds needed to fight poverty and invest in essential infrastructure such as roads and hospitals. Honorable Minister, we are very much aware that Uganda's history when it comes to debt repayment is not as good. And even when we get loans or acquire loans, and these Parliament passes loans, we don't use them accordingly. We mismanage these funds. So I am not sure if this UDAB or this phase, we are going to use that loan properly. I invite you, honorable colleague, to make sure the ministry uses this money appropriately to best serve Ugandans. There's also an issue of lack of insufficient staff. Now that the NITA-U has been rationalized, this project is very big. It is a very big one, and you have limited staff. I want to know from this side how you are going to, I want to know how you're going to handle this project with limited staff, because it looks huge and it's going to serve the entire nation. Then also there is an issue of the confusion between UTEL and Soliton. How have you managed to get to phase 5 without solving this issue of UTEL and Soliton? I need for you to give us that information.